Hi everyone, it's Laura T at Dream Deals 123 YouTube, and I'm the Silver Owl Thrifter on eBay. I'm not going to be talking about eBay today. I'm going to talk about what happened on March 11th. This is hard. No songs at the beginning, I'm afraid. Can't sing. I usually, for people who are new here, I usually talk about eBay and I start with a song, but I'm not going to do that today. Whew, this is a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. I should have bought some Kleenex. Anyways, on May 11th, I got up at about 5:30 in the morning, and my husband was sitting on the couch. He had been not feeling great for quite a while, but well, let me talk about that. I don't know the order to talk about this really, so I'm just gonna ramble as I usually do. Well, okay, so I got up and I was doing the dishes, and he was sitting on the couch because he was having trouble sleeping, and after doing the dishes for about 10 minutes, I went in the bathroom and he was on the floor and he looked dead to me. And my first thought was, what do I do? Of course. And so I said, well, do you call 911 when somebody's dead? But I said, okay, I'm going to call 911 because I didn't know what to do. And so I called them and they said, do CPR because sometimes people can look dead, but they're not dead. And so I did CPR and they were on their way, but the house was locked. So I had to get my daughter up. So I ran to my daughter's room, quickly unlocked the door, and I told her what happened, and she took a CPR class in 9th grade and had never done CPR, but she remembered CPR, so she started doing CPR on her dad until the paramedics came. And then they were in there for about an hour, and then they took him to the hospital. And after a couple of days in the hospital, pretty much on life support, he passed away on our 35th wedding anniversary. He died from a sudden massive heart attack. And like I said earlier, he hadn't been feeling great, but we thought it was allergies because he was like saying he felt really congested and stuff. But looking back, he was feeling bad, and I had said to him like the day before, if you don't feel better in a day or two, I'm going to take you to the clinic. We had just been to see our doctor, and so he was 63. As some of you know, if you've been following us here, he had just retired in January. He retired early. We were going to retire in this June, but we found this dream house on the lake, and we decided to retire early. So we moved to Virginia, and where my daughter and granddaughter live, and with her husband, and I'm still in shock. Of course, I was in shock. So how am I doing? I'm doing okay. It's just so. It's like I'm in a different world, you know. It's like you lose a part of yourself. I miss him very, very much, but I can't. If I feel like I'm going to just start bawling, I'll probably kind of change the subject because I don't want to do that right now. My sister made a little video, I know when this happened, so I know some of you may know about this, but maybe all of you don't. So I am seeing a grief counselor who's really great. My new neighbor here, you know, that's the other thing, you know, in this community, we really don't know anybody because we're new here, except our family, which is great. And everybody's been very supportive. My daughter's in a church here, and when it all happened, everybody did the food and everything. My neighbors in this lake community is just amazing. The people here have been very supportive. My neighbor is actually like a very well-known grief counselor, and we have coffee just over at her house every week and talk, and she's been wonderful. And the ladies who live here, they invited me to start playing cards with them. So for the last few weeks, I've been playing cards at this beautiful tavern on the lake here. Anyways, these are the things that I'm doing that are helping me get through this time. I'm planning to visit my son in a couple of weeks in Missouri, and I'm going to go there for a long time, like maybe 4 or 5 weeks. I made notes here. Let's talk kind of like basically the reason he had the heart attack was a lack of potassium. He's always had high blood pressure and struggled with his potassium levels. But oh boy, I did not know how important these potassium levels were. I wish somebody had just taken me and shook me by the shoulders and said, if his potassium levels get low, you've got to get him to the hospital, get him on an IV. But we had just done blood work, and the potassium levels came in a little low. His doctor looked at him. He gave him supplements, potassium supplements. So we thought we were addressing this potassium problem. But he basically, when he was in the hospital, the heart doctor said, his potassium is like 0.4% or something, and his brother, who is a doctor in Turkey, told me that your life cannot be sustained if potassium levels are that low. And he said that's what caused this. So if you ever have your potassium levels checked and they're low, make sure you take care of it. This is the kind of stuff that drives you crazy when you think about, I wish I'd done this, I wish I'd done that. But I'm not going to go there because I just can't do that. We did everything. We were trying to address it. That was like one of our biggest goals in retirement, was to get us both really healthy. And we thought we were on our way. Let me talk about the funeral a little bit, because it was really pretty special. I haven't been able to talk about my husband to people very much because he had a job at the Defense Department, and he did not want anybody to talk about him or what he did. He had the highest security clearance available. He had a security clearance, I think he said higher than the president. He deployed to Afghanistan and Iraq 11 times for periods of 6 months to a year after 9/11 happened. He couldn't talk really about he could never talk to me about what he did. But at the funeral, many people, many co-workers came up from the DC area and talked to me at the funeral. And they told me that, God, I wish I had a Kleenex. Hold on a second. I'm gonna get myself a Kleenex. And I'm sorry, let me take this with me. Here, let me show you the lake. There it is. I'm gonna go and get a Kleenex, or my nose is gonna start running here, and that's not gonna be good. Oh, sorry about this. Yeah, it's me. I'm still the same goofy YouTuber here. I'm gonna grab toilet paper. I don't care. Okay. Thanks for the notes of support that I've been getting from some of you who heard from my sister what happened. Okay. So what was I talking about? Let's talk about the funeral. Sorry, excuse me. And then talk about more stuff. So at the funeral, a lot of people spoke, and it was wonderful. Friends of my sons were talking about, the impact that my husband had on them. One young man lived with us for a while, and okay, let's start with his deployments. Whenever he would come back, he would always bring like a lot of medals and certificates, and he would get letters from like the head of NSA and stuff saying thank you for all your help. And he was always throughout his career getting awards and things like that, but he could never tell me what he was doing. Once in a while, like one time he said, he called me from Afghanistan, and he said, I can't really tell you what's going on, but we're just opening some champagne here at the office, and this is the only time we've ever had champagne here. And then my son came in the room, and he said, Mom, they just got Osama bin Laden. And another time he came home from work, and he was just like pumped up with pride, and he said, I wish I could tell you, but I can't tell you. He said, and he would never boast or anything, but he said, I did something pretty good today. And so I had all these things, and he wouldn't want to put any of these medals and things around the house. He just didn't want anybody to know what he did. It was top secret. He actually could lose his job if he talked about things, and he was always really, really good with that. And so even though I had sort of an idea, kind of a little bit of an idea of what he did, because I knew like what he studied, he knew 7 languages, he knew everything about anything military history, regular history. That whole region was his specialty. He grew up in Turkey. He was born in Wichita, Kansas, but grew up in Turkey. His father was a well-known surgeon in Turkey, and he came over here to train and met his mother at a hospital. And anyway, so you know how when somebody dies, you put pictures of them or like little mementos or things to kind of represent them. Well, we thought, well, let's put all these medals and all these things out, because finally people can see what he did. And the funeral home had to actually bring extra tables in, and they said that's never happened before. Tables of medals and plaques and pictures and flags from the embassies that he'd been at and been working at, commemorative flags and things, just stuff, pictures of him with like the heads of all the agencies and stuff. So, and then after the service, like I said, some people were talking, but I was kind of thinking, well, I wonder if anybody from work is going to stand up and talk. Well, one of them said to me later, they said they couldn't say anything. They couldn't stand up in public, especially because people were filming it and everything. They couldn't talk about anything, but they did want to tell me some things in private. And so they got me and the kids, and they told me some of the stuff that my husband did. And I guess he stopped a terrorist attack on a major U.S. city, saving thousands of lives. He stopped a war between northern Turkey and Iraq. I don't know how he did this. I can kind of think, but he also, what they said was the probably one of his greatest contributions was that he mentored people, and the people he mentored went on and did the same things that he did, stopping terrorist attacks and things like that. So that was really cool to hear some of those things. And I remember one really, really, really big award ceremony they had for him once, and I'm thinking back that was probably from stopping the terrorist attack. So he was a really, 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 really great guy. We had a really good marriage. He was a sweet man. So that was really nice to hear those things, and really cool for the kids. And then, some of you know, Chelsea the dog had been coughing and had been sick. Basically, a week after he died, she died. Okay, I have some good news. Okay. I found out last week I'm going to be a grandmother again. My daughter Lydia is pregnant, and that's wonderful, because I'm telling you, seeing my granddaughter Evelyn is it's like a balm to my soul. You know what I mean? It's hard though. It's hard. Everything I'm realizing, every bit of good news I'm getting is like tinged in the background of, oh, but I wish Yelchin was here. Yelchin was his name. I wish Yelchin was here to experience it with me. I'm not like, I know he's in a better place. I'm absolutely 100% sure of that. And we'll be together again. It's up there with Chelsea the dog. So I'm not like sad for him. I always feel like it's not, I'm not ever sad for a person who dies, because they're in a good place. They're in paradise. It's just the people who are left behind that it's hard for. And, you know, when you have kids, you don't just deal with your own grief, you're dealing with their grief, and the grief of everybody who knew him, you know. The grief, you know, he was so well loved. When I told my real estate agent started to cry. Well, I just see some other notes here. I'm happy that, you know, I think some of you know about this lake house. It kind of came unexpectedly, and he decided to retire 6 months earlier than he was going to, so that he could come down here, or so that we could buy, you know, move into this lake house. And I'm really glad that that he did get some retirement, because he was the hardest working man I've ever known. Since he was like a baby, he's been working. And then another thing that happened, I don't know if I talked about it much before he died, but we were big. Yeah, I think I did. Remember, I wasn't doing much eBay because we were babies, because the other grandfather who had been, the other grandparents had been watching Evelyn, our granddaughter, and then he had a stroke. He's 100% better right now, but for a few weeks, we took over the babysitting. And those 3 weeks, Yelchin got to spend so much time with Evelyn, and it was just the best time of his life, just cuddling with her and playing with her. So even though that came about because Randy had a stroke, it was like he was just given, and she was given some extra time to be with her grandpa that she will now not really get to know. I'm still doing eBay because I like it, and it's good for me to keep busy. Other things that I'm doing that are helping, I think I mentioned I have a really good grief counselor, my neighbor, writing in my journals, watching YouTube videos about other widows and, you know, widowers, watching TV, watching movies just to sort of escape. Everything is tinged with the loss of him. Like, we were in the middle of watching a TV series, and I'm like, I don't know if I can go back to those series because I was watching it with him. He's not right now. I mean, that's the least of my issues. You know what I mean? But so the happy news is my daughter's pregnant again, due in February. And another good news is my son and his family are going to move here in the next couple of years. They're in Missouri now. I should be in Canada right now. Yelchin and I had planned to go up to the Rocky Mountains with my sister and her son and his wife and see my 2 sisters who live up in Canada. But I didn't want to go without him. I'll go another time. I'm going to start doing my YouTube videos again because I like doing them. I was thinking of, should I do some kind of video on being a widow? Because, I don't know. But I'm going to, I'll talk about it because it's my life now. I'm still going to have a good life. I'm going to have a good life. It's just going to be very different. And, man, there's going to be always this pain of his loss. Well, I don't know if I'll be able to sing at the beginning of my videos like I always did before. It'll have to be very unsentimental songs. I'm going to join the Y, get some exercise. I really, really want to focus on my own health, which is going pretty good. I think I told you before, I just saw that doctor last week, and I got some more peptide injections, which helped me feel good. My hair, he's been giving me this collagen peptide mix, and I don't know what's going on. My hair has gotten so much thicker. It was really falling out and thin. So that makes me feel good because I know that, if my hair is growing in thick, it must be doing good stuff to my body, and I'm feeling better. So I really want to get healthy for myself, for my kids, and grandchildren now. Plural. Yay. Well, lots of stuff has happened over the past 10 weeks, and I'm going to be okay. It's the worst pain I've ever been through. It comes in waves of grief just hit me. But I'll be okay. I will see you in the next one.